Hello and welcome to another episode of Dinks with Kanks. Oh, guys, I'm excited. It's just one of those episodes where I'm just like, and before we get started, let me remind you guys to follow us on social media. We both have both a Twitter and an Instagram where we post supplemental information like pics and video. So check us out at Dinks with Kinks. Ready for tonight, guys. What do you think?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's really suspenseful.
Oh, wow. She's kicking it off early this time.
I know.
It's the earrings. I can't help it.
You do.
Making me all
Okay.
sassy.
So, Mr. Shep, what are we talking about tonight?
Oh, did you introduce any of us?
No,
Mm-mm.
you didn't.
No.
It's like I'm just leaving you waiting. Shep, what are we talking about tonight?
Living on the edge?
Tonight, I am your host, John Dondero, and with me, as always, the very confused, has no idea what's happening, Miss Rebecca.
Hello.
And always, the very suspenseful Mr. Shep.
Good evening.
I know I keep stringing us along, thinking we're going to go down another path, and kind of changing it up as we go, kind of doing things out of order. Because tonight we're talking about a very fun, very enjoyable kink that I love, edging.
Oh, wow.
I like edging. Edging's fun.
Tell Miss Rebecca, tell us what edging is.
Edging is orgasm denial. It is keeping you on the verge of orgasm, but never quite all the way.
So
Isn't orgasm denial its own fetish, though?
yeah, it's chastity. I think we covered that.
Yeah. In a way, yes.
Is edge play similar to chastity, or is it like it's a whole different thing, like because it has different meanings?
I think it's different meanings, though. I think it's just different.
It's very different. Edging it is exactly what you said it was.
I was like, you're making me feel like I'm wrong, but I know I'm not. But I'm questioning myself.
Right.
It was the
Listen,
Question
it was-
everything.
I know I'm not wrong. I just don't have the evidence to back out how I'm not wrong. So back
I was
up.
like, yeah.
Edging. I think edging is a little more playful than chastity. Chastity, I think, is like hardcore edging, and maybe like where with chastity you wouldn't even build up to the orgasm. It's denial through and through.
Mm-hmm.
With edging, there's that intissa, and
Patient.
then you're playing, you're having fun, you're working it up. Patient that brings it right to the brink and tips it.
I'm done with you.
No, listen, I'm just really good at edging. okay?
Why? What are you? Are you?
I'm the best. No one.
Are you the
edges.
best because they can't get there?
Oh.
Oh, that hit me to the core. Okay, listen,
I'm
you're not that good at
sorry.
edging
The
because
edge.
you're not that good at
I'm
edging because
sassy
you just
today.
finished me off.
I
Okay,
think I'll just trade places with her, Rebecca, tonight. She can be the sassy
Yeah.
one.
Right?
Sorry.
that was a fatality.
I told you it's the earrings.
I'm just gonna sit back and watch this adventure. Oh.
Now
So-
you're gonna bore you? All right, you watch.
I mean,
War,
as long
we
as you're gonna
we
be an
talked about that
exhibitionist for
too.
me, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, edging.
Edging.
We're keeping the audience on the edge of their seat because we're not talking about it.
Yeah, hey, listen. This is how we demonstrate what edging is. We keep just bringing up topics, getting us real close to what the meat of it is. And so, have you guys ever experienced edging before?
Yes.
What about you, Mr. Shep?
Giving, receiving, what?
Either side. Like, do you have knowledge
And
of it?
yes. Oh, yes.
All right. To the meat of the episode, and then we'll just let you finish off strong. That's going to be a whole episode of me just edging the crap out of our
I see.
audience with
Gotcha.
knowledgeable.
I'd
tidbits.
like to apologize in advance to our audience.
I think this is.
What about you, John?
Oh yeah, I have lots of experience in edging. It's on my kink list, so it's pretty high up there too. I very
too.
much like. I'm not one person who likes torturing somebody like sadistically, like with physical pain or anything like that. But edging is one of those tortures I really get into, especially as a dom, because you do get to control a lot of the power in this particular case, because you can bring someone to the very brink, and then the minute they're denied it, it intensifies. So it's just like, no! And you want it ever so much more. And that's how I view edging. If edging is done right, it's getting so close to the edge that you're like, I'm right there. I can see the cliff. I'm going to cliff dive. And we're like, nah, let's go over the snack bar real quick. But the snack bar is still good. Everyone enjoys the snack bar. So it's not like I'm taking them away from fun. I'm just taking them to another fun event over here for a bit and then bringing them back to the edge.
Because, some people just rather be living on the edge.
Living on the edge.
I like it because you know that point right before you have an orgasm, that that delicious moment right before it. I feel like edging makes you ride that wave, because once you're over the crest, you're sort of you got to work up to it again.
It's a roller coaster.
You know?
Edging, if edging is done right, is like a roller coaster, and you're clicking up that ladder. And if you truly want to edge somebody, you have to get them to the point where they're tipping over the edge, and keep them there, because that is the most terrifying moment on a roller coaster. Is that point where you see the drop, and you're starting to click over.
Terrifying is the wrong word.
These are.
It makes me many things. Terrifying is not one of them.
No, this is like, a. Now, see, you have to make me think of the word. I can't even think of the word. But de facto, sex is not a roller coaster. You're not in a metal car going up a hill. So take metal car to getting your business done. Terrified, switch it out for pleasure. See?
I like a nice wooden roller coaster.
Those are too bumpy for me. I
don't like roller coasters.
You don't?
I don't.
Well, you just haven't been on the proper one yet.
Oh. No, edging's fun. I think it's it's definitely up there on my list. It's just, it does. A lot of people think that the orgasm is the final, that's the goal. And I feel, and it's not. And especially inexperienced people, it's like, oh, I want to get them to come as many times and as hard. And I'm like, there's so much pleasure that can be had without an orgasm or before an orgasm that shouldn't be your ultimate goal. The orgasm should be just sort of the cherry on top of everything else.
The climax, and the climax is the end of the story, or the downhill. So the bigger the build up, the better the climax. So if any M. Night Shyamalan movie, the twist at the end, if they did that twist in the first 10 minutes, you'd be like, oh, cool. Well, I'm done. And it would be a sucky ass movie. But the fact that it builds it up, and you know it's coming. And every minute you think there's going to be that twist where Bruce Willis is really Luke Skywalker's father.
What?
There's a big twist at the end of Star Trek.
That felt more like a
Bruce
TV
Willis
twist
is
there.
really Luke Skywalker's father. And, you get that at the end, and it's just like the buildup was so great, it makes it that much more intense. So the longer you hold out and build up that climax, and I mean this in the story sense, the better the climax is in the sex sense, right over the edge. Does that make sense? Is that a better metaphor than roller coasters?
Yes.
Or it
Because
could
apparently
be,
my metaphor, and I found the word, it was metaphor. I had to Google it.
Oh.
yes, your metaphor was all over the place. I was wondering if it was going to crash and burn or not, but no, you held out. You held out to the edge there.
Did. I like living on the edge.
Tantric massage is also another good example,
Oh yeah.
since it's the buildup of the sexual energies. You know, not as much metaphor, but you know, I like
When
it.
did you guys first experience edging?
I want to say like when I started coming into being a dom,
Uh-huh.
like, because the one thing I really enjoy is like not so much being edged myself, but edging somebody else. Because like I said, I'm huge on just watching somebody lose their. Okay, I love watching somebody lose their shit, metaphorically. And I feel like when you edge somebody and you do it properly, it is such more of an intense situation, and that's when I fell in love with it. I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. I didn't know it was edging. And then
Well, I don't think
Suddenly.
anybody falls into that. Like, oh, let's. I think that's one of those. This is one of those things that comes mostly the experimentation. I know for me it did. It just like I didn't say, "Ooh, I want to try that." Like it naturally sort of progressed, and it's like, no, I want to ride. I want to ride that wave. And no, I don't want to come yet. I don't want to come yet. No, not yet. Like you're right. That's. I feel like that's how it sort of just naturally happens. You sort of fall into it almost. That's what happened to me, I guess.
I mean,
And then I was like,
that's-
oh, that's what I'm doing.
same. I mean, that's exactly the same. I was just like, I'm into this. This is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it has a name? Cool.
Hmm.
So, what about you, Shep?
Many years ago.
Did you say
Who knows?
98 years ago?
No, no, I don't think so.
No. For some reason, I heard 98 years ago, and I'm like, did you invent it? Was this like something you invented in the lab? You're like, I
Did
shall
you
call
say
this
invent in the-
edging.
Vent in the lab.
No,
Well, I feel
this is
like-
kind of a thing you come across when you're strumming the instrument, and you just like the low tones, and you want to stick with the low tones before reaching the crescendo.
Look at him using music metaphors.
This is an episode of metaphors, and I'm loving it.
is,
I'm real
yeah.
into it.
Just saying.
Yeah. Edging kind of leaves me speechless a little bit because I'm like, there's so much I want to say about it, but it's all very like emotional. Like it's not like it's hard to describe the feeling because it's such a unique feeling of like bringing someone to that point over and over and over again and them getting closer and each time it being a bigger experience.
Yes,
As you get
and it's
closer.
also as much of a challenge for the giver as the receiver, because, you know, when you're hearing all the enjoyment and stuff, you don't want to hold them back in some aspects. So you're almost fighting yourself in order to keep the tease going and keep it building up higher and
Mhm.
higher.
And this brings us to the next topic I want to talk about with edge play. There's two different types. There's the what I call the pleasant edging, and then there's the torture edging. And these are just my terms. These are not the official terms.
Oh, I was
'Cause-
like, ooh.
No, yeah. What I call pleasant edging is kind of like that. You don't want to deny anybody anything. So, it's almost like you're secretly edging. But, there's always consent. You bring them to that point, but instead of saying, no, don't, maybe unfocus from that section of their body for a second, or move on to something that's also enjoyable, and build them up. Like you start building all over, and then there, of course, there's the what I call torture edging, is when you tell somebody do not under any circumstances.
Oh, both of those are so much fun, though.
Right?
There's nothing I get torture, but I mean, as a sub, that is sort of fun. That's like, it's just fun to me.
It's torture
Yeah.
in the same sense of like, tickle torture. It's like, oh, is it torture though?
Is
Quote,
it
unquote.
though?
Is it? No, it's playful and of course, some people do take it very serious, but I think it's one of those things where it can be very playful and very fun.
Chair got caught.
I saw that. I saw you having some chair issues.
I was having chair issues. I'm like, got caught on the rug.
Was your chair edging you out?
Oh.
I was
No.
on the edge of my seat. It was
And
not
then the
fun.
roller
Metaphorically
coaster
speaking.
started to go down.
It was not very much everyone. No. But yeah, I love edging. Loved edging before I knew it was edging. Like that had to be one of the first kinks I really enjoyed a lot. Before I even became a sub, like I knew I was a sub. It was just
Yeah, and as we said, it did follow along the same lines as the climax denial and such like that. So similar genres can cross a bit like that.
oh,
Oh, absolutely. Just like last week when we were talking shoe fetish. I mean, it's very similar to a foot fetish. You have these, all of these similarities, but in the end, they're very different because typically edge play does not involve any type of device or active denial. It's it's not a punishment. It's a saving your dessert for last, as it were. Yeah. Some people are like, let's eat dessert the entire time, and it's great, and I love it. Other people are like, eat your green beans. They're delicious, and they're good for you. And you're like, okay, I do enjoy green beans, but I know I've got carrot cake waiting. And for every green bean you eat,
okay,
there's
this
another slice of
metaphor
carrot
is
cake.
terrible. This
Awful.
metaphor is
And
awful.
I need my glass
What
of
is-
milk for this one.
What is wrong with carrot cake?
No.
No.
First pun shaming, now carrot cake shaming. I feel like I'm being
I love
dessert
carrot
shamed.
cake. No, carrot cake is amazing.
So what you're saying is you're metaphor
Especially when I
shaming
make
me.
it.
I
Yes.
I am because I'm a
Yes.
metaphor queen.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, metaphor shaming. All right, cool. So we've moved on from pun shaming to metaphor shaming. This is great. I
We've
like to see
matured.
evolution in a podcast.
We've
Well,
matured.
Quality
a
assurance checks. Quality assurance.
I like
checks.
it.
I feel like edging, what I like about it is you have to know your own body as well as you have to know your partner's body, and it's very much almost an intimate thing in the sense that you have to really know what gets them to that point before tipping over. So you really have to tune into that person, and you have to tune into your body and a communication and verbal, nonverbal. And I think that's also what I enjoy about it, is because of that intimacy factor of it and that control. And it's not hump and come, It's like-
Best metaphor of the
I-
night.
I get the
Actually,
hint from all that she's into the control thing.
there's that.
this is, I think, the gateway to discovering whether or not you're a sub or a dom.
Mm-hmm.
And
Much
I'm not
so.
saying it is the only gateway into it, but I think this is a lot of this is one of the things that put you on the path for one or the other, whether you enjoy receiving it or giving it. And yeah, I think that's the self-discovery path of both sub and dom. So that's how I discovered I was a dom, 100%. I very much enjoyed this. As it were, I was not a hump and come kind of guy, as you put. Okay, you make that face. She coined it. Rebecca's the one who's like hump and come. But
It's
you're
true.
right. You have to know every asset of every aspect of your partner, especially if you're doing what I call like playful edging, not torture edging, where you are bringing them to the point and then working them in a different direction, maybe without even them knowing. And if you know them well enough and you're able to do that, yeah, that's my little guide dance. That's my edging dance right there.
Feeling
There's a
get
dance
left
for
out.
edging.
Oh.
Yeah, it's exploring the path. You got to find all the edges and find the right one to jump off of.
I actually enjoy what you, I guess, termed torture edging. I think I think that's how I sort of got, like you said, like I sort of knew I was a sub, and it's because it's like, no, you're not going to come. No, and you're not going to do it till I tell you to, and you're like your whole, all your nerves are on end, and you're like, okay. Like you
More of an
willingly agree. It's when you willingly agree that you're like,
I will say
okay.
you said that, and it just brought back so many good memories
More of an edge. Oh, wait, yes.
of
Oh, what?
experiences of doing that.
Oh, I was like, the way you said that, I was like,
No.
oh,
When you said you will come when I tell you to come, I was just like, memories.
not towards me. We're going to clarify
Yeah,
that.
I think the
Towards Shep.
more
Towards the chef. Okay, gotcha.
torching, the more torturing side, I think, would be with a very strong Hitachi wand. Because that takes you there and keeps you there as long as it's kept there.
And for those of you
So
who don't
yes,
know,
that
a
would be the
Hitachi
more
wand
torture.
is a device that your parents told you was a shoulder massager. So if you look back in your childhood,
I mean,
and you
he's
wonder
not
why your
lying.
mother had a quote unquote shoulder massager that she would never let you touch, it wasn't a shoulder massager.
You know,
Ain't
that's
no
why I don't
shoulders
have
there.
one. That is why I don't have one, because no.
You know,
I
it's,
hope-
you,
no.
yeah, you know it's not a shoulder massager when it has a drawstring.
But and that's actually a true story of my childhood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my mother had a quote unquote shoulder massager.
Or a leaf blower dildo, because that's the one with the drawstring.
And you're like, oh, what is that? It's a shoulder massager. And of course, kid me was just like, cool. Well, my bones don't hurt because I'm invincible. I'm 10 years old. Then you become an adult, and you click that moment when you look up at a Hitachi vibrator, and your face goes white, and you're like,
Shoulder massager. Keeps
I wondered
echoing
why
in the
my
back
mother's
of your
shoulders
mind.
always still hurt. I just thought it was a crappy massager. No, it's the best massager in the world. Just not for your shoulder.
Again, that is why I don't have one. No.
Are your shoulders very sore?
No.
Maybe you should get one and have unsore shoulders.
Good. I have other things. I'm good.
Fun story. I actually have a shoulder massager.
I have a TENS unit.
It's no, it is
have a TENS
literally a
unit.
jackhammer for your shoulder, and it's a shoulder massager. And I was like, It got here, and I was like, oh, it actually is not Hitachi at all. Cool.
Back to edge play.
Yeah, we did kind of go down a rabbit hole, and that's
Where his massager plays on the edge.
And that's a good example of edge play, as we were getting really hot and heavy into torture edge play, and we kind of trailed off into good
We
conversation,
did.
and now
Yeah,
we're back.
And now we're back.
That's what I call playful edging. Trademark. Don
Playful
Derry.
edging.
Playful edging.
Edging is just something that just it's one of those things that you use when you discover the more mature you get into your sexuality. Does that make sense? Like,
No, it
because
does.
when you first start having sex, whenever that is, it doesn't matter when. And it's just all about all the new sensations. It's all like everything feels good and I want to come as many times and I want to try all the things. But that's when you sort of edging is when you're like, okay, now I feel all the things and I feel good of all the things. Now I want to figure out what things make me feel good the longest. You know, it's one of those mature things where you start slowing down and stop trying to feel all the things at once.
And I think it's probably very different for males and females, because like young males, and I'm using myself as an example, so I'm not speaking for all males. Edge play is kind of
But you said
difficult when
young.
you're. I mean, young, like when I was a young man,
Okay.
when I was a young warthog. Lion King reference. Sorry, just moving on. It's hard to control when you hit that point of edging. It's hard to control not finishing the job, and of course, you know, young people are just like, why hold back? Just go. So, and females, I would imagine it's easier to kind of control because it's harder to reach orgasm when you first start out. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, guys can literally, when guys first start out, we can come literally to a picture of curvy wood. Like if we see a alluring tree, we're just like, no, there it is, done. Sorry, it's happened. And you know, and my experience talking with females, it was one of those things they had to kind of perfect their orgasm, like come into it, as far as with a partner. Not by themselves. I had that shit mastered by age 17.
I'm 15, but okay.
I was going on the older side. Just don't at me. Don't hit me up on Twitter and being like, let me tell you about me when I was 13. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I really don't. Okay?
Okay.
But with a partner, when you're trying to explain to a especially if it's a male partner, that orgasm is a process, not just something that happens and you feel guilty 30 seconds later. That's part of the maturing process. Now, Rebecca's looking at me like she's stumped. Shep's over here going, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh no.
And every guy listening to is going to be like, oh, I know, yeah. I saw that curvy piece of driftwood and was like, ugh.
Oh no,
Done.
I know. I am very, very well aware of that.
So typically, if you have somebody who, especially a male, who is skilled in edging both himself and his partner, it shows a great deal of maturity and dedication.
Because otherwise he'd be jizzed in his pants.
I love that song. That's the
You're
song that's
welcome.
going to bring us out tonight in the episode.
Okay.
It's not. No, we don't have the
Awesome.
rights for that. Unless you're listening, Andy Samberg, because if you are, love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, go ahead and at me so you can use that song.
So we can all jizz in our pants.
In our pants. All right, it's that time where we would do the would you will.
Do we
but I
really
think we're all
need to? Because
pretty
I think
light.
we're all experienced in edging. So the would we is sort of moot.
The hell yeah, we would.
You kind
We
of
all
did the would you in the beginning of the
Right?
episode.
I mean,
Actually, no, okay, so that was poor edging. Patient. Oh yeah, if you listen back, I said Antissa near the beginning and never
yes,
finished
you
it.
did.
You just got the patient at the very end. No, I did it
Oh,
twice.
okay.
I edge more than once.
Oh no.
No, this is hard because I try to in the episode. Do we have an experience with it? And then when you do the would you part, this is a kink that a lot of people have experienced, whether they know they have or not. And I think a lot of people listening may, especially if they're new to the kink world, they may go, "Holy crap! I love that. It has a name." And so hopefully we've helped some people discover something about themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, we can take them to the edge and back again.
Mm-hmm. And if they're, continuing to listen to this metaphor-heavy episode,
Then we're sorry.
where we're not sorry. I think this is a great episode. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I have been edging the entire time. Just saying, I'm a real
We're
edge.
really sorry.
Yeah,
I would have to say this is in my top 5.
Look what you've done.
This is definitely in my top 5.
I 100% agree. This is probably. I think this is probably one of the first things I would try with a partner
Yeah.
when branching out into that kink world, because it's one of those things where it's a safe one. There's no real danger. It's a great way to find out compatibilities and knowledge about one another. Because, like I said, failing at edging is not always a bad thing. It's a learning experience that you get to go on with your partner. And I think that's why I'm like, let's do this early on. Because if you're into it, I'm into it, we're going to be really bad at it because we don't know each other yet. And this is kind of how we learn and explore. So I'm an explorer, okay? Put the pith helmet on me, send me into the jungle. I'm looking for the edge.
I'm living on the edge.
Yeah.
Living on the edge.
But back when we were younger, though, like I said, we didn't see this as edging. We saw it as teasing.
Yes.
Because they would tell you, no, don't stop. You're like, oops, I stopped. Let me do that again. Oops, I stopped.
Shep, we're so dumb. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is essentially what teasing is. Why did we not talk about that at the first? Look at we're learning.
Yes,
In this
I'm
podcast.
teaching you. Yes.
We learned. Teasing is literally the gateway to edging, and the edging is gateway to sub and dom, and sub and dom is the gateway to every other kink in the world. We have found it. We have found the source of
You're
all
welcome.
kink. This is the trifecta.
Brought to you by Shipment TM.
I like it.
Love it.
Speaking of kinks that we now know and love, I think it's time to find out what we're talking about next week.
Yay. Are we spinning the wheel?
We are spinning the wheel. Let's give it a spin. This is the real edging of the episode.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
The anticipation. Oh, I never like it when he makes that face. What is it?
Next week is going to be, you know how a lot of times we make jokes and we laugh and we have a lot of fun. Some would say we clown around a lot.
Okay.
No.
And next week, I think we're going to be talking about a very serious, no-nonsense kink. We're going to be talking about clowns and the fetish behind clowns. And no, that's not a joke. This is not a womp 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 joke.
Are you? So you're not just clowning around?
I'm not clowning around. Next week, we are discussing the very interesting fetish of clowns that I didn't know was a serious fetish until I looked it up. I've heard the joke about clown porn 100 times. Then I found out it's not really a joke. And next week, we're going to learn all about it.
But sure is it funny, though.
We're not going to make a single joke. This is going to be the most serious episode we've ever done. I'm talking straight face the entire time. No puns, no metaphors,
Okay.
no gags.
See you in 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, it's not really a Dinks with Kinks if there's no gagging involved.
True.
Okay.
Just a tip.
So for everyone out there in Kinkland, thank you so much for listening. Remember to check us out on social media at Dinks with Kinks, at Twitter and Instagram. We'll be posting pictures from this episode. I don't really know how to do pictures of edging, but I'm going to be clever with it. It's going to be fun, and you should check it out. I am one of your hosts, John Ondero, and with me is the metaphor-shaming Miss Rebecca.
Good evening.
And Shepherd TM.
Till next time.
Good night, and so long.